Hey guys, welcome to Yosemite National Park. I have come in today. I come here a lot, as I know if you've watched the channel, you know I do a lot of hikes, and I'm going to do a hike today, but the predominant reason for my visit is I am looking for wildlife, and I just want to share with you how easy or complicated it is to find wildlife here in Yosemite. So the first thing that I want to say is Yosemite is not like Glacier, Yellowstone and the Tetons. You will not just see like bears everywhere, elk everywhere. It's not that kind of park. But I have seen a lot of bears. I've seen a lot of other wildlife here as well. And I nearly went to Sequoia today because I figured my ratio of visits to Sequoia and seeing a bear, and then my ratios of visits to Yosemite and seeing a bear, showed that Sequoia I seem to have a lot more luck. But I've done a video on looking for bears in Sequoia already, and so this morning I want to come into Yosemite and see what I can see. So my first stop is the valley. Now it's the summer, it's July, late July, and it's, as you can see, the amount of cars that are whizzing past me, it's going to be busy here in the valley today. So I always come into the valley first thing to try and just get ahead of the crowd, and then I'm going to head up to Tioga Road and see what I can see up there. But it's just dawn break at the moment, so it's just starting to get light. And it's these meadows around here that you want to be looking in, basically, because this is where you're going to get your best chance of spotting something. So you're looking for anything that's moving out there, and a bit of patience. Now, as I say, Yosemite is not a zoo, so you know you really have got to look for these animals. And I am going to be full disclaimer: there's a really good chance on this video I won't find a bear today, or any other wildlife. But I just want to sort of give you an idea of where you need to go, what you need to look for. The time of year is really important as well, because this is summer. There's a lot of campers in the valley, which means there's a lot of human food, which is obviously a big draw for them. Whereas later in the year, they would go more towards things like the oak trees for the acorns. Right now though, there is a lot of berries in bloom in the valley, so there's a lot of bushes which you can see just around here where you might find berries. So it's all these little pull-ins. You want to basically just pull in and have a little stop, take a moment and just have a look, and along the way you'll see an amazing, beautiful Yosemite anyway. Wow, so there is Upper Yosemite Falls, and you can see it's almost just a very thin waterfall now compared to the usual gush that you get off there. Now, I've seen bears in this meadow before, and I've also seen coyote. I'll put some pictures on the screen now. Doesn't seem like there's any movement out there this morning. Lots of wildflowers though, which is very pretty. Yeah, it looks pretty still out there so far. So I didn't have any luck in the valley. I drove the loop 3 times and I didn't see anything. And it's disappointing because obviously, you know, you always want to see wildlife when you're looking for wildlife. But I think it just also makes it more special when you do have those encounters. And as I said, I could have gone to Sequoia today and I probably would have had better luck. But here I am. So I've just come up onto Tioga Road. So Crane Flat gas station is about a mile down the road. And this is the first meadow that you come to. Now there's a lot of meadows on this road, but this is probably the biggest one up until you get to Tuolumne Meadows. So it's a fairly big meadow and I've seen a lot of wildlife here. I've seen a lot of deer here before, and bears, including a mama with cubs, have been spotted here by other people recently. But it's just all about right place, right time. It's quite fresh this morning. It's still only now getting light and it's not too busy up here so far, so hopefully I'll get a bit more luck up here. But I do recommend pulling in here and having a watch. I finally found an animal. It's not a bear, disclaimer, but over here there are yellow-bellied marmot. So you can see a guy just there by the tree. I'll see if I can get some footage on my camera. So you can see there's a marmot just here. There's another guy over there and there's another one down here as well. They're very easily spooked. And with these cars going past, they're jumpy, but yeah, there's another guy that's just there. He's popped out over there, so I've got a couple of photos of them. This is a really good spot for marmot. So I've seen marmot here multiple times. There's also some poo as well. Now that poo is a bit big for a marmot in my opinion. I might be wrong. But yeah, if you want to spot marmot, this is a really good place. It's just a pull in on the side of the road and you can just see like the rocky outcrops, and this is where they like to live. You can see there's some marmot poo on there. Just on that rock there. So they basically live in all these rocks in the burrow, and you can see they've been popping their heads up over there now. You could spot them from the side of the road, but obviously once you jump out the car they do tend to run away. But yeah, there's another one just down there as well. Or is that a piker actually? I wasn't quick enough to get him on camera, but I think it is a piker down there as well. I didn't even know they were in Yosemite, so maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a baby marmot. But I was hoping he'd pop out again, but I've waited a few minutes and no luck, so I'll move on, I think. But yeah, this was a good spot. This is the pull-in. Just look for this nice big tree. Okay, so I've just made it to my next spot, and this is Tuolumne Meadows. Now I find up here, especially in the autumn, it's really good for wildlife watching. Every single time that I've been up here over years, there's always been deer, and there's actually loads of them today. But I will pan around and show you now. But I've also seen bears up here loads of times. I've seen coyotes. Yeah, and it's a bit quieter again. It's out of the valley, so it tends to be that little bit quieter. But there is a lot of traffic here as well, so it can get quite busy and it's quite hard to pull in if you do spot something. I saw a bear once, and by the time I turned around to try and find somewhere to pull in, the bear had gone. So you've got to be mindful of that. But I'm just going to pan the camera around. So there's a bunch of deer here. There is a stag there. And then there is like a huge herd of deer over there. So I'll take some photos and videos now on my camera so I can show you. And you can see just over here this huge herd of deer. There's a stag there, and then there's some more deer over there, including a mama and baby, which is really cute. There's loads of like mountain peaks and stuff up here as well, so very scenic. So you'll see a lot of these signs throughout Yosemite. and there's a lot of them in this Tuolumne Meadows area actually. I've seen quite a few in close succession, and again on Tioga Road. So a red bear is a dead bear, so anytime you see this Speed and Kills Bears sign, it means that a bear has died on the road here. So some poor bear was crossing this road and got hit by a car, so obviously that's why it's 35 is the speed limit here. But it also, one thing that I find with the Speed and Kills Bear signs is it also paints a picture of where the bears are. So you can see these signs in the valley, you can see them on the way into the park, and of course you can see them up here in the high country. So it just shows how widespread the bears are, and obviously how tragic it is every time one of them gets hit by a car. But it's interesting to know that, you know, even up here there is a lot of signs as well, which shows that there has been bear activity up here. And these little turn-ins, you can see this lake, which is absolutely gorgeous with the trees around it, but there's also loads of other pull-ins as well that you can stop. So the road is quite busy. You'll see there's a lot of cars, but there's a few different parking lots. And in these meadows, they're trying to keep them restored because there's been a lot of damage over the years. You'll see a lot of new plants growing, and there's lots of signs and sometimes barriers as well to try and keep people on the trail. So I was just chatting to a park ranger who was passing by on the trail up here to Soda Springs, and apparently there are some fawns with deer, so I'm going to look out for those. There's also some marmot up here as well, and they've also seen an osprey and a red-tailed hawk this morning. So yeah, I'm going to keep my eyes peeled and see if I can get some good shots of these critters. No bears sadly, but you know what, I have to tell myself, the reason I get so excited when I do see bears is because it is a unique experience. If you watch my Sequoia video, I spent a whole day in Sequoia and Kings Canyon looking, and then at the very end of the day I saw one. So you never know, the day's not over, but I have seen a lot of bears, and at the end of the video I'll show you all my bears I've ever seen, or well, at least I've got photos of here in Yosemite, and tell you where I saw them as well, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's go and see these fawns. Regardless of wildlife, it is just gorgeous up here. It's such a pretty, it's quite cold today actually for July, and there's Lambert Down towering over. Okay, so I've just spotted the deer with the fawns. They're just a ways off. I don't think I'm going to be able to get too close because obviously I can't go in the meadow and trample the flowers, but I've got a photo, so hopefully I can put this on the screen now and you can see what I can see, and then yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get some better angle shots. Look at this prairie dog. I keep calling them prairie dogs, but they're squirrels. They are acting like prairie dogs. Friend? It's the tiny fawns. So right here is the deer. I think it's going to make its way into the water, and then there's a marmot just down here. So there's plenty of wildlife up here in Tuolumne Meadows.
I saw her cooking. Okay, so it was good.
unfortunately I didn't quite get the pictures that I wanted of the fawns, but I did see them popping up and I've got some pictures of them, and I did see one very briefly skipping through the field as well, like prancing, which was just the most adorable thing. But even just on that bridge alone, there was marmot, then a deer crossed through the river. So whilst it might not be bears, you know, and as I've said, I've seen bear up here and I've seen coyote up here, so there's definitely big animals up here. But I definitely feel like for a summer day in Yosemite, which is a quite busy day, I have seen quite a bit of wildlife, so I'm really happy with that. But the day's not over, so there's still time for my bear, or who knows, maybe something else. Okay guys, crazy update. I came back into the valley, it's absolutely heaving. But I gave up, and as I was leaving the park, I looked to my side and there was a bear swimming in the river. By the time I pulled in and got the camera out, it had gone, but there was people swimming on the beach by where the river was, and they saw the bear too. So I know for a fact that it was not just my eyes and it was there. So I did see a bear today, which is fantastic, but I really wanted to get some good photos or a video or something of it. So anyway, I've run around the park, can't find it anywhere, and I'm going back the way I just went to leave the park in the hope that it pops out someplace else. But it was swimming away from the road side and into the meadow side, and I've just looked in all the meadows and I couldn't spot it, but it just proves that they are here, they are out and about, and I want to see it again properly. I'm like this crazy bear person. So yeah, I'm now doing the exit loop again of the valley in the hope that I see the bear this time around. So please pray for me. But it just goes to show, after all of that, I did get to see a bear today and I'm really happy about that. But now we just need some pictures. So I've just come out to this, this is a little bit further up the road from where the bear crossed the river now. It went over to the other side of the river, which is the problem, because if it was on this side of the river, I'd probably have a better chance of spotting it. But it's also been about 20 minutes now, so I think my chances of seeing it have started to deplete rapidly. But I'm glad I did see it, even if it was only brief. So I'm just coming around now to just have another peek at the river and see if there's any other angles that I can see, and see if there is anything moving on the other side. So there's a lot of people sat by the rivers today, in, sunbathing and swimming. So I'm surprised that there hasn't been more people that have spotted it. It's obviously kept itself busy. There's nothing in the river over there other than people. So I'm just walking around here to see what I can spot. But nevertheless, I saw it, and I think that's my takeaway for today. I really wanted to see a bear, and I did. Don't always need to document it in photo form. I guess it's just not my day for a bear photo, but I am really pleased with the photos that I did get today, which I'll put on the end here now. Obviously I am leaving the park, so there's still a small chance that I'll see a different bear, or that bear in some other location on my way out. But either way, it's been a really nice day, and I'm glad that I came, and I'm glad that I took you guys along with me. I think it reiterates my point that bears are a little bit easier to come by in Sequoia. However, a busy valley here in summer doesn't deter the bears either. So my lesson is learnt there that I shouldn't write the valley off just because the crowds are here. I've also seen bears here in the valley in November, in when was the last time? February, and there was snow on the ground. So they are here and they are out year round. So I hope that helps with your planning of wildlife viewing in Yosemite. There's definitely some tips that will be fruitful, but I think with bears it's just dumb luck in the moment anywhere within the park. But if you've liked the video, please like and subscribe. I'm going to Glacier, Yellowstone and the Teton later this year to do more looking for animals and stuff, so definitely stay tuned for that. And I've got lots of hikes and accommodation on here as well. So I'll see you guys soon.